Rafael Trujillo's life and rule in the Dominican Republic were marked by a remarkable journey from humble beginnings to becoming one of the most enduring and controversial leaders in the nation's history. Born in 1891, Trujillo's early years were characterized by limited educational opportunities, but his ambition and charisma propelled him into a military career that would shape the destiny of his country. His rise to power was a complex interplay of politics, alliances, and authoritarian rule. In this narrative, we explore the key phases of his leadership, his impact on the Dominican Republic, and the enduring legacy he left behind. Early life and rise to power. Rafael Trujillo's journey to becoming the long-standing ruler of the Dominican Republic was marked by humble beginnings and a surprising ascent in the military ranks. Born into modest circumstances on October 24, 1891, in San Cristobal, the young Trujillo faced limited educational opportunities. Despite these limitations, he displayed an early ambition and drive that would later define his political career. Trujillo's life took a pivotal turn when he joined the National Guard. As a member of this military force, he began a remarkable ascent, gradually consolidating power and influence. His charisma, ambition, and ability to navigate the complex political landscape of the Dominican Republic of the time played pivotal roles in his rise to prominence. This phase of his life set the stage for his later, more controversial leadership. The First Presidency, 1930 to 1938. Trujillo's first presidency, which commenced with a coup in 1930, marked a turning point in Dominican history. During this era, Trujillo implemented a series of policies aimed at securing his authority and control over the nation. These policies included economic reforms, the dismantling of political rivals, and strategic alliances with influential individuals and groups. Trujillo's early years in power saw the consolidation of his regime, setting the stage for his extended rule. He skillfully navigated the complex world of Dominican politics, building a network of loyalists and suppressing opposition forces. These formative years of his presidency not only shaped his authoritarian rule, but also laid the groundwork for the dramatic changes that would unfold in the Dominican Republic during his tenure. The Second Presidency, 1942 to 1952. Trujillo's second presidency, spanning from 1942 to 1952, marked a more extended and authoritarian phase of his rule. During this period, he tightened his grip on power, with policies characterized by political repression, censorship, and a cult of personality that elevated him to an almost mythical status. His regime extended control over all aspects of Dominican life, from politics and the military to the media and education. In addition to his autocratic tendencies, Trujillo initiated various economic development and infrastructure projects. While these endeavors brought progress in some sectors, they often favored his close associates and supporters, contributing to a growing disparity between the elite and the general population. The second presidency, though marked by some material progress, was overshadowed by the darker aspects of Trujillo's rule, including human rights abuses, a pervasive culture of fear, and a systematic suppression of dissent. It's in this period that the Dominican Republic bore witness to some of the most disturbing elements of Trujillo's leadership: human rights abuses and repression. Behind the veneer of development and progress, Trujillo's rule was marred by a grave human rights crisis. His regime was notorious for its widespread human rights abuses, including political repression, torture, and extrajudicial killings. Dissent was met with brutal force, and opposition figures faced imprisonment, exile, or even death. Those who dared to challenge Trujillo's authority lived in constant fear, and the atmosphere of intimidation cast a dark shadow over the nation. The stories of individuals who suffered under his rule, often at great personal cost, provide a stark reminder of the human toll of authoritarian governance. Their narratives serve as a testament to the resilience and courage of those who refuse to be silenced, even in the face of immense adversity. These harrowing accounts bring to light the profound and often unspoken impact of Trujillo's repressive regime on the lives of ordinary Dominicans, whose voices were often silenced, but whose experiences remain an integral part of the country's history. Foreign policy and international relations. Trujillo's foreign policy was a complex and ever-shifting web of alliances and relationships. At times, he aligned closely with the United States, leveraging the geopolitical dynamics of the era to maintain his rule. Yet he was not bound by any one superpower and pursued an independent course when it suited his interests. This flexibility allowed him to navigate the treacherous waters of international diplomacy, where his connections with foreign governments and leaders played a pivotal role in the survival of his regime. He skillfully maintained a balance between regional and global powers, using diplomacy as a tool to secure support and legitimacy for his rule. Trujillo's foreign policy was a reflection of his pragmatic approach to international relations, and it played a significant role in shaping the dynamics of the Dominican Republic's place in the world during his time in power. Assassination and legacy. The end of Trujillo's reign came in 1961 with his assassination, marking a dramatic and tumultuous period of change for the Dominican Republic. His death brought to a close a chapter in the nation's history characterized by authoritarianism, brutality, and political oppression. However, the legacy he left behind would continue to shape the Dominican Republic for years to come. The country underwent a series of political changes and attempts to reconcile with the dark history of his rule. Trujillo's impact on the Dominican Republic was profound and multifaceted. His rule left an indelible mark on the nation's politics, economy, and culture, and his legacy remains a subject of ongoing debate and reflection among historians and the Dominican people. Studies and early career. Rafael Trujillo's early life was marked by limited educational opportunities. Trujillo came from modest beginnings. His formal education was quite minimal, and he didn't have the privilege of attending prestigious schools. However, his ambition and charisma set him on a different path. As a young man, he worked as a telegraph operator, but his life took a significant turn when he joined the National Guard. Trujillo's entry into the National Guard marked the beginning of his rise to power. His military career began to flourish, and he rapidly climbed through the ranks. His ability to navigate the complexities of Dominican politics and forge strategic alliances helped him amass power and influence within the military and set the stage for his entry into the political arena. Marriage and family. Rafael Trujillo's personal life was intertwined with his political career. He was known for his charisma and charm, and these qualities extended to his personal relationships. He married Aminta Ledesma, who became the First Lady of the Dominican Republic during his presidency. The couple had several children together, and their family life was largely kept out of the public eye, in contrast to Trujillo's highly public political persona. While Trujillo's family life appeared relatively stable, his political life was marked by ruthless authoritarianism, and his regime was characterized by repression and brutality. The stark contrast between his public image and his private life was emblematic of the complex and often contradictory nature of his rule. Death. Rafael Trujillo's long and controversial presidency came to a dramatic end with his assassination on May 30, 1961. His death was a culmination of years of international and domestic opposition to his regime. Trujillo's rule had garnered significant international criticism, and he had made numerous enemies throughout his time in power. His assassination occurred when his car was ambushed near the Dominican capital, Santo Domingo. He was gunned down by a group of conspirators. Trujillo's death ushered in a period of significant political change in the Dominican Republic. His regime was replaced by a transitional government, and the nation began to grapple with the legacy of his rule. The circumstances surrounding his assassination and the individuals involved have been the subject of much speculation and debate, but what remains clear is that his death marked the end of an era in Dominican politics. Trujillo's legacy continued to cast a long shadow over the country even after his demise, as the nation sought to come to terms with the complex history of his rule and its enduring impact on the Dominican Republic. Conclusion. The life and rule of Rafael Trujillo in the Dominican Republic are a testament to the complex interplay of ambition, charisma, and authoritarianism. From his early days in the National Guard to his two presidencies marked by consolidation of power and political repression, Trujillo's legacy is a multifaceted one. His regime left a profound impact on the nation, shaping its politics, economy, and culture for years to come. However, his rule was also marred by grave human rights abuses and political oppression. The story of Trujillo's regime is one of contrasts. A leader who achieved some material progress, but at a tremendous human cost. His assassination in 1961 marked the end of an era, bringing a tumultuous period of political change to the Dominican Republic. Even in his absence, the legacy of Rafael Trujillo continues to be a subject of debate and reflection among historians and the Dominican people. It serves as a reminder of the enduring impact of authoritarian rule and the importance of reckoning with a nation's complex history. Trujillo's life is a stark example of the challenges and consequences of leadership that prioritizes power at the expense of the people's rights and freedoms, leaving behind a legacy that remains intertwined with the Dominican Republic's past and present.